Well, welcome everyone to another live stream on Wednesday. I just want to thank you for take the opportunity to come out and spend some time with me on the day. Today, I'm going to talk about some new stocks that I came across that were, kind of sent by question. I want to thank everybody for asking a question. If you never came to our show before and it's the first time you're hearing it, let me give you our disclaimer. Please don't pick any stocks. Anything that I talk about is really for entertainment purposes only. As a retail investor myself, these are stocks that I may or may not hold in my own portfolio. So I suggest that before you take any position, you do your own research and make your own determination. It's best that if you don't know how to pick a stock or place yourself in the situation, the retail investor, that you hire someone that is a financial advisor, stockbroker, or a placement agent. They can help you. And that way you can make an informed decision when it comes to your stock picks. Well, today, I have a few stocks I want to talk about that I have on my watch list. I updated my watch list. You can always see in the body. If you have any questions during the show, go ahead and make sure you post it in the comment section. And today, some of the stocks we're going to review is BITF. It is carried on the exchange of the NASDAQ. It is information technology software based out of Canada. Recently, the stock symbol is BITF. So today really is this. Each time as a retail investor myself, I always say what I want to be exposed to, what industries may not be in favor. Right now is for me, my perspective is that when it comes to anything technology is out of favor. Every time today rates got increased by a quarter of a base point, and anytime they increase rates, it's actually an attack at the technology. It's an attack as far as the market is concerned. When rates are increased, anything that's growth, technology stocks is going to be affected. Banks, as you know, recently JP Morgan acquired First National. So you have these type of situations, First Republic, not First National, but First Republic Bank, because they had a lot of bonds, and those bonds, as you would think bonds are safe, but depending on how long, the only way bonds are safe is if you can actually utilize them to the end of their term. And with so many people who are depositors seeking to have their money in a safe place, JP Morgan was put in a situation in the last couple of weeks that they had to acquire First Republic Bank. So we now seen Signature Bank, we've seen Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank of New York, and now First Republic Bank. These are all banks that, because of the higher interest rates, and they're local banks. They're not the quasi banks, but they're the big banks. They're the small community banks in the state, in those local states, and they took on risk, and holding bonds caused them to be in a situation where they had to seek liquidity, and they couldn't do it fast enough. So that'll tell you, when you start thinking about housing right now, overall in the market slowed. You have anything to have to do with consumer spending. The Feds, again, they're trying to make sure that they do as they said, a hard landing. So we're in a situation where you have to kind of pick and choose. And for me right now, you have to think about what risk I want to be associated with. So I took it this time and took some suggestions, got some advice, and people asked the question. So I'm only looking at this from a perspective for me. I'm not thinking about this for nobody else. Again, this perspective is based on what I have available to me that I could utilize in order to take a position of 100 shares or more. I always try my hardest to make sure I invest in groups of 100 shares. Now, with that being said, here are the three stocks I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about a Bitcoin stock. Everybody always thinking about Bitcoin, but for me, I just wanted to look at it and see if there's any type of opportunity to be exposed to it. And that's Bitfarms Limited. I'll be looking at Bitfarms Limited. I also take the position to be talking about stock symbol Eman, E-M-A-N. Again, E-M-A-N. That is called Emerging Corporation. I'll be talking about that stock today, as well as the last and final one on my list, BBAI. This is Big Bear AI Holding Inc. So these are the three one I'm going to look at, make a decision I want to carry on my watch list. And again, I don't really discuss whether I take a position in these stocks or not. And that is because that's private information, whether I do or not. But this is just my due diligence. So I'm starting to do my due diligence on these three stocks. So let's jump right into it. Now, one thing about BITF is carried on the NASDAQ. Some of the recent events that you need to take note, that I need to take note of, is this. Back on May 1st, Global Newswire, a global vertical integrated Bitcoin mining company, has received confirmation from the NASDAQ Stock Market LLC, NASDAQ, that it has regained compliance with the minimum bid price requirement of $1 per share. NASDAQ listing ruling 55,550A/2. On December 13, 2022, the NASDAQ notified Bitfarm that its common stock no longer complied with the minimum bid price requirements of $1 over the previous 30 consecutive trading days. Based on that, subsequently, they had to April of 28 of 2023 to meet the compliance. NASDAQ determined that the preceding 30 consecutive trading days from April 11 through April 27, the closing bid price um, of Bitfarm common stock of $1 per share or greater. So the company has therefore regained compliance with the listing requirements. Now, this is what we call an adverse event. This is something that does happen from time to time, and you have to be aware of that whenever you, especially I am as a retail trader, I need to be aware that there's companies sometimes that drop below the dollar minimum bid price, and they do it for 30 consecutive weeks. That's called an adverse event. If you never had an adverse event, you definitely will learn from it if you have. And for me, I've learned over the years whenever I found myself due to a compliance issue, which means the price has capitulated down to a price where it's not closing at $1. And once that takes place, you find out that you'll see that they're deficient as far as the listing is concerned. The stock must remain a price of $1 consecutively or higher for 13 consecutive trading days. If not, and it dips or breaks that, then they may have other stipulations in that situation. And that's where you start to see a reverse split. It can be a reverse split in any denomination once the company itself puts out a meeting of shareholders and asks permission, and then they would normally do a reverse split based on how many shares you have. So let's go jump into the dive. Now, I'll just tell you this, as far as BITF, it is something I'm looking into. It's something that I always say, do your own research. I'm not stating this so that you have a chance to just know, hey, this is what you're thinking about. No, this is how it looks, what it looks like when you start to go and look at a company. So Bitfarm Limited is a Canadian crypto mining company that operates large-scale Bitcoin mining farms. Cryptocurrency mining is the process of verifying transactions on the blockchain network, such as Bitcoin network, and adding new blockchains or blocks by solving complex mathematical algorithms. This requires a significant amount of computing power, which is provided by specialized computers, hardware called mining rigs. The company also provides electricity specialized for commercial and residential homes in Quebec, Canada. It is also undertakes hosting of third-party mining hardware. The company was founded in 2017 and is headquartered in Toronto, Canada. Bitfarm operates several mining facilities in Quebec and Canada is focused on using clean and sustainable energy sources for its mining operations. The company uses hydroelectronics, like I like to say hydroelectricity. Well, when you start to think about that, you have to say, okay, they are into going green. So if you want to be exposed to the energy section, then you'll start to hear people about going green. For me, I don't have any current exposure to any type of renewable energy, so this is the reason I'm looking at this at this time. The company uses, again, hydroelectricity and hydroelectronics on other renewable energy sources to power its mining rigs, which helps to reduce the environmental impact of cryptocurrency mining. Bitfarm generates revenue by mining cryptocurrency and earning transactional fees, and it also holds a portfolio of digital assets, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. As the value of cryptocurrencies can be highly volatile, Bitfarm profits and financial performance are subject to market fluctuation and other factors affecting the crypto industry. There is a growing interest in Bitfarm due to the increasing popularity of cryptocurrencies and the raising prices of Bitcoin and other digital assets. Several articles highlight Bitfarm's effort to expand its mining operations and increase its computing power to capitalize on the growing demand of crypto mining. Other articles also discuss Bitfarm's focus on using clean energy sources for its mining operations and how this could help companies to differentiate itself from competitors and addressing concerns about the environmental impact of cryptocurrency. Now, I always got to be, put my facts out there as I'm learning. I also realize that the Securities and Exchange Commission is cracking down on crypto companies that are not Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is probably the only one that is actually really considered a commodity. because anyone can mine it. It's you solve a math problem, but a lot of these other ones they use Bitcoin tokens. This one happens to be listed. This is a Canadian-based company, so it is not a U.S.-based company. I also got to keep in mind that whenever I'm thinking about taking a position and being exposed to a company that is literally not in the U.S., I have to think about if something goes wrong in this stock, how will I deal with being able to get involved in any type of class action suits, because we're talking about Canadian currency. And as you know, Canadian currency is valued less than American currency. So you take the position of thinking about, okay, it's in Canada. It's a mining company. I have an opportunity to be exposed to it. It was founded in 2017. I don't have the money to invest in Bitcoin at the price where it currently is. What is this company? And it does have Bitcoin in its portfolio, and they also have Ethereum in its portfolio. But does it make sense for me to hold it in mind? What products or services? I know they do power for residential, and I know they do power for commercial. What is that percentage? These are the questions that I begin to ask. Currently, the stock is trading at $1.11. It's has a round lot purchase, which means if it's trading at $1.11, that's as of today when the market was closed. You're talking about it cost me $111 out of my current cash that I have available in order to take a position in stock and buy 100 shares. Well, for me, I asked another question. They just had a situation of deficiency, and it's a stock that's probably has some healthy shorting on it. Does it make sense for me to place myself with this stock so close to $1 that it can dip down and have another additional 30 weeks? How many outstanding shares does it have? If it cannot come back above $1, if I'm exposed to that and I put up $111, I mean, I don't invest money to lose money. I invest it to make it. But if I'm willing to take on this risk, it means I'm also willing to lose $111. And for me, being so close to the adverse events that took place starting back in December 13th of 2022, the NASDAQ then at that point, it already had 30 consecutive weeks. That means it was coming through 2022 consistently under $1, and it could not close above $1. And it wasn't until April 11th of 2023 to April 27th of 2023, it was able to close above $1. The Feds just hiked the rates. These earnings come out, they're not good. I may be exposed to an additional adverse event. Another deficiency notice from the NASDAQ will be issued. Do I want to be exposed to that? Well, let me see if there's another stock that I'm reviewing today that may make more sense and doesn't have that exposure. Now, I do realize that prior to 2017, the stock was trading at a higher premium. We now have some pullback. And we also have some capital depreciation. So if I had the stock around $5, I'm now looking at $1.11, and that would have been prior to all of these interest rate hikes. As you know, the Feds keep increasing interest rates. That will affect technology companies, and that is another contributing factor. These are the things I think about. This is what I have to review. So I'm gonna then look at this next stock that I have. This is also in the same category, and that stock falls in the Eman. It is carried on the New York Stock Exchange America versus just the regular stock exchange. It's on a smaller one, the New York Stock Exchange America. It is information technology. It has to do with semiconductors and semiconductors equipment. It is currently priced at $1.57 per share. 100 shares would cost me about $157. This stock was trading harder. Do I have any exposure to semiconductors with everything going on between China, thinking about taking over the largest semiconductors, and knowing that a lot of the Taiwan companies, I'm not willing to take the risk right now with so much going on with China. It doesn't make sense for me to invest in those. Plus, the premiums to buy them are still kind of high. There have been capitulated since a lot of the larger investors and institutional investors have started to exit a lot of Taiwan semiconductor companies. Plus, the government said if China take over, they're going to blow up the semiconductor factories in Taiwan. So I want semiconductors, but not in Taiwan. Being at the United States government, I don't think it's a joke. But you can find articles where America said that those companies that make American chips, they'll blow them up first. That caused the stampede of large institutions. You can actually check out the filings on the SEC that you'll notice that a lot of people exited Taiwan big semiconductor companies when that statement was made 2 months ago. So No, I don't have any exposure to semiconductors. This is why I'm looking at this stock. If I have access to $157, I can buy 100 shares. Any adverse events, recent events. Well, let me see. eMargins Corporation is the leading developer of OLED, so micro displays and related products. The company OLED, which is organic, that this that's the ones they make, or like the organic televisions now. O stands for organic, then LED, so it's an organic television. It's a so that's one of the things. So it's interesting. It's not just semiconductors, but they also make the new organic TVs. Micro displays are used for a variety of applications, including visual and augmented reality (VR) and AR headsets, military and industrial applications, and medical devices. Emargins OLED micro display offers high resolution, high bright, high contrast, making them ideal for the use of VR and AR headsets, where they can provide a high quality, immense experience. The company also offers OLEDs for micro displays for the use of military and industrial applications, and they play a critical information role in the user's real-time reality. In addition to the OLED micro displays, Margin also offers design and development services for custom micro display solutions, as well as manufacturing and testing services for its product. Overall, eMargin products and services are designed to help its customers develop an integrated cutting-edge display technology into their products and systems, and make VR and AR more realistic in real time. So, okay, so they take a role. Their companies they make OLEDs, micro displays. You probably see those when you go into, and that's a new thing now. You have this OLED. It used to be LED, as you know, before was high def, and then we always go back from black and white to tube TVs to high definition to LEDs to, so I mean it continues. TVs tend to get better, 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 but I'm not into organic matter inside of a television. That changes everything because that's organic matter. So when you start talking about, I understand the semiconductors aspect of it, but this is another one. If I have the 157, maybe there's something else. Let me see if there's another one comparing these two, comparing BITF to Eman. So I mean that's the biggest thing is, BITF versus Eman, and these are all at this particular point I'm looking at are all information technologies, all being beat down, especially the interest rate hikes. The other one is going to be BBAI. That is called Big Bear AI Holdings. As you know, AI is a big thing now. Everybody's talking about GPT-4, GPT Ultra. I mean, it's going to be GPT today you die at this point, because this is another advancement in the computer software industry that's changing the way that we operate. You'll probably start seeing a lot of this technology put already into it. We already have auto dictate on a lot of the devices now, but this is talking about even a greater capacity. And again, this is also a semiconductor business. This is carried on the New York Stock Exchange, the largest exchange. So this is similar to, the Eman, other than Eman dealing with the OLED TVs. So let me do a deep dive into this one. Well, not necessarily a deep dive, but a temporary research on it. And I will continue because on today's show, I'm not going to be able to get everything about this. The show goal is to really keep it 20 to 25 minutes for entertainment purposes. I know everybody have a short attention span, but this is what I'm looking at currently. Big Bear AI Holdings, Inc. is a technology company that specializes in artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, ML solutions. The company provides advanced analytics, software development, and engineering solutions to governments and commercial customers in various industries, including defense, intelligence, and finance. Some of the key areas of expertise of Big Bear AI includes machine learning and artificial intelligence. The company develops and deploys AI and ML solutions to enable customers to make better decisions by leveraging data analytics and predictable modeling. Advanced analytics. Big Bear AI provides advanced analytic solutions that enable customers to gain insight from complex data sets and make informed decisions. Software development. The company offers custom software development services that cater to a specific need of each customer based on the AI and ML technology. Engineering solution. Big Bear AI provides engineering solutions that help customers optimize their operations, reduce cost, and imply efficiency. Overall, Big Buy's mission is to help organizations harness the power of AI and ML to drive innovation and growth while ensuring data privacy, security, and compliance. Now, here are three companies that I have on my list. Two of them are semiconductors, as I mentioned before. Taiwan, before the U.S. ever let China take it. Unfortunately, I do not sit in Congress, so any statement that I'm about to make is farce, it's hubris at best, because it's a guesstimation. It's not based on fact. And whenever you're not talking based on fact, you're assuming. And if you're assuming, then you're willing to take on the risk that you could be dead wrong. So I'm willing to take on that risk. I know that when I think about each one of these semiconductor companies, for me, I missed it. I was channel focused in other areas over the last couple of years, and actually, at the end of the day, I still have a position where I do for my day to day job is consulting. So on my free time, when I do have it, and that's a little bit at best at this point in my life, with all the responsibilities I have and things that are going on, I think it's important to ask yourself the question. Um, and I say ask yourself for this. It doesn't matter who you listen to on YouTube. You always got to remember that there's a couple different things that YouTube offer: entertainment or education. This show specifically is education, and it's also entertainment. But it's always education first, because I'm allowing you to see how I work through problems and come to my determination. But one of the keys is, no matter what I do, I have to be able to purchase at 100 shares at a time. As you get better, and as I get better in life, you begin to learn the best way and certain strategies that you should take and not ignore. There was a time where, I didn't know any better, and I would buy one share, I'll buy two share. I get that. Most people will start off from that platform. But you'll learn that there's a greater advantage in life when you're able to meet that standard that the industry put in place. And you may say what that standard is. Well, round lots is the standard. It is a standard thing, 100, that they utilize. It's been that way for years, to be honest with you. So I wanted to be able to set aside enough money that I would have in my personal finances so that I could purchase 100 shares. Each one of these stocks I'm talking about today are not that expensive. However, they are highly exposed, and I can adversely lose a lot of money if I pick the wrong stock to actually start to build a position into. Of these three stocks, this is my first preliminary look into these technologies. One, I do understand about information technologies. I've had those in my portfolio before. I've had a Canadian-based company before. You'll start to notice, and here's a little hint that I had to learn a long time ago. Whenever you see F at the end of a stock, it's not a US-based company. Let's say it was called AAABF. That's not a US-based company. Let's say it's PPPF. It's not a US-based company. Keep that. I had to learn that early on. Once you start doing your research into any stock, you will begin to realize that F Signals is a non-US based company, which makes me have to remember that if the company gets delisted, it'll be very difficult for me to ever recoup my money. It'll be very challenging to be part of a lawsuit where the currency is less than the American dollars that I initially employed. Because as soon as this company defaults, I'm gonna find myself in a situation where it's defaulting and all the lawyers are all Canadian based, and they're gonna pay me back based on Canadian dollars, not US, because the currency got converted. So that's something I need to keep in mind when I'm thinking about investing in a company. Over the years, I have invested in companies that ended in the letter F that was not US based, some in Canada, mineral companies, oil companies, and they didn't do well in America over time. And I got stuck in that trade. And that trade, which meant that it would be with me forever, because when those foreign companies delist or fail to meet the obligations or close, that stays in my retail portfolio forever, because there's no liquidity to get out. Um, there's no market maker going to pay me any dollar, even if I try to sell it for, even though there's no trading fees right now, there is delayed routing, which is still a fee. The way they make money is to do delayed routing now. But from the standpoint of a fee to trade this stock of BITF, and I need to take that in consideration. I need to think that right now, with the worlds that we're in, the society as a whole, 2 more years. Biden announced that he will be rerunning. If he gets reelected, this is a horrible stock for me to hold in my portfolio. Um, if he doesn't get reelected, there's a possibility, but it's still a horrible stock because now I just don't need to know about the United States government and the new government mandate or the current, if it's a new president or the current president. If the current president stays here, I'm going to be exposed to his overall policies, which is not in favor of technologies. So I would need a growth stock that can survive him. And 4 more years, I don't see where this stock will go. So we're going to move on and not add this to my watch list. Because that gave me enough information where it's very easy for me to determine. It's a low hanging fruit, but who wants to lose money just to say that they bought something? Next, I look at Eman. Eman is carried on the New York Stock Exchange America. Semiconductors. But I have an issue, and then this is a personal issue. You may not have an issue with this, but I have a personal issue with OLED, organic matter in the television, especially in the society which we live in, and having that sitting in my house, or organic matter television that even when it's off, I'm going to pass on that one as well for more reasons. I don't believe that we should have organic matter inside of our televisions. So my stance is no. So that leaves one stock for me to look at, and that's BBAI. And this is Big Bear AI Holdings Inc. Technology. Currently, it's trading at $2.60 if I want to buy 100 shares. So that's $260. I must be exposed to it. It is semiconductors. It is AI technology. It has machine learning and artificial intelligence, which, for me, I do accept that that's where we're going. Auto dictate was just a simple version of it where the machine learning can learn your audible voice and it can kind of drown out the voice in the background unless you're in a car and you stop talking, and then it for about 3 seconds to 5 seconds is another voice is audible being heard and they continue to talk. It actually will, after a certain amount of time, it will begin to pick up that second voice. So I'm assuming they're going to continue to upgrade that it can just lock on to pitch tone. So for today, I will be adding BBAI to the new watch list. You may not see it in my body, but I'm going to be adding that, and I'm going to put it there. Whether I take a position or not, that's my personal business. But I will be adding that. It doesn't give me the opportunity to be exposed to semiconductors. I miss the last time semiconductors because you may say, what do you mean by that? Right now, technology semiconductors are out of favor. And maybe the top tier semiconductor manufacturers, a lot of people getting involved in that. But as long as interest rates are high, it's hard to get money to pay for. Semiconductors plants are ginormous, and the amount of money it costs and the deferred compensation that is made is just truly a growth industry. And this is the new technology. As you realize, Intel, Apple making their own chips. They went after they lost a lawsuit to Oracle. They're now putting Oracle chips in the iPhones and their iMacs. Now they're making their own chips as they begin to separate from using Oracle chips at all. Oracle chips still used inside of Android devices, but that's the thing. Having an opportunity to look at these stock symbols and seeing why I need to have exposure. And again, I'm telling you that I'm not trying to guess the future, and I wouldn't suggest you do as well. Just learn an industry and get very good at learning an industry. And I'm not telling anybody they got to be futuristic. Me, I'm just looking at what's coming next. In 2000, the dot-com era was an amazing time. At the same time, it was horrible depending upon when you entered. Was you in doing the growth or was you in doing the bust? So timing is everything. Money's made at the entry, not the exit. If you already lost at the entry, the exit is just going to be how much can I save to stay in the game versus. And these are the lessons that I learned. And you're going to learn your lessons as well. So it's important that if you're going to get into any type of positions or any kind of trying to view anything, you need to get very good at learning from people. Go out and find somebody that you can learn from that is from the industry, what they call an expert. Spend some time with them, pay whatever fee that they may offer you because that's what the expert gets paid based on fees. And, really ask them to help you with your worldview. I've paid, a lot of money learning the hard way, and sometimes learning the hard way is not the right way. And if I can help anyone to prevent them from learning the hard way, I do my best through these entertainment slash educational videos, so you don't have to. The last thing you need is to have any situation where the hard way causes you to have financial difficulties, because it will. Whether it's from the stock market, or whether it's from a bad choice of who you associate with, or whether it's from a decision because of someone else's decision. All of these decisions will have an impact on you, and then everything affects your pocket at the end of the day. So I would highly suggest that if you're not a retail investor, make sure that you do your due diligence. Do not take any advice that I offer. Again, you're not, and if you're out there right now and you're enjoying this content, don't forget to hit the like button. This helps for it to go out into the marketplace so other people can actually find out about the channel. Our channel is not just about this. This is what I do on Wednesday. Wednesday, I get that privilege. Just again, I am not a financial advisor, so don't take none of my advice. I am an entrepreneur and I am a regular citizen of America. So if you're looking to glean more than entertainment and educational lessons, just do a deep dive yourself and begin to learn industries. I mean, most people don't spend enough time learning the industry, and this is a way for me to be able to supplement my personal income. And as I supplement my personal income, it allows me to also don't have to work a second job. But at sometimes, you will find that you have to work a second and a third job, whether you are an officer in a company or not. It all depends on how your decision making is and how frequent you are at utilizing your resources. So as far as today is, if you've never, one of the things I looked at on our YouTube channel is this: we have a lot of people every month that watch our channel and that's not subscribed. It's always anywhere between 12,000 to 20,000 people will watch our content, whether it's about CFS Studios, is about the movies and the short films that we are producing, or it's about the news of the financial news, or it's about, business strategies. Because one of the things, as being an officer or being in business in general, as an entrepreneur, I've learned a lot of lessons about spending money in a way that you don't get a return, the misappropriation of capital, definitely. These are all master degrees that if I can do anything in my power to limit you from making those choices or making the dumb choices that I made in my life, I'm going to definitely be transparent versus translucent. But just so that you can save someone else. I think the hardest part about whenever you find a channel that you can entertain and you can learn from, it's not just for you to learn so you can get knowledge and vocabulary, but it should be so that you can stop somebody else from making a decision. And the decision may not be to stop them from learning to be better on the way they allocate funds, or if they decide, because we only have two choices in America, and these are the two choices: we pay a professional, or we learn what a professional do and do it yourself. That's it. If you want to retire in America and you have a 401k plan, you're paying a professional, or at least through your employer. If you have a professional outside, you pay them. Their job is to make your life easier. Well, if you don't want to ease your life and you want to learn what they do, then you learn yourself. I chose the path I'm going to learn myself. Sometimes that means you learn the hard way. That means you'll take a position and it wasn't the right position, or you'll take a position and you see capital appreciation. That means you bought at 10, is now trading at 5, or you bought at 9, is now trading at 2. And then you look at it from a perspective saying that, hey, I either going to make one choice. If it's in my 401k plan, at my local job, then one of the things I'm going to do is every month I'm going to keep investing. So that's going to be dollar cost averaging. If I'm an individual, then that means that doesn't happen. That means I have to make that trade myself. It's not an automatic system that brings in a dollar cost averaging. I've had both. I've had a plan, a 401k plan in my lifetime, and I also have my own plan that has nothing to do with a 401k. Regardless of what it is, you got to gain experience. And hopefully this 30 minutes that you spent with me, I want to thank you for, and I will see you next week. Again, I just added, if you check out the list below, you will see my watch list. Again, it's my watch list. It's just some exposure. It goes all the way back to when I first thought about stocks. So as you knew, DraftKings was on my list. I priced that stock at a certain price based on my due diligence and discounted points, and DraftKings has met the criteria, and it is still holding. If I'm not mistaken, today DraftKings is actually trading for probably higher than the than what I had it at the time. But Today up, it's $21.92. So it's, if you go back and you go watch some of my previous videos, you will notice that I had DraftKings and I priced it, what my entry was. If I was going to enter, not necessarily what my entry was, but if I was going to enter, what the price I needed to get it at. And then over the course of from February 1st into now, and it's now off my watch list because that opportunity is now done. At least from my standpoint, for what my goals was, I look at 24 to 36 months, and if the stock takes a position and goes to that, and my synopsis was correct, then this is the benefit. And if it wasn't correct, then I'm exposed to my choices, and that's the risk that I take on, and that's that systematic risk that I take on, is that if I'm wrong, I own the stock. If I'm right, I'm out of the stock. If I'm right and I don't buy the stock, it was a waste of time. And I've had many of those times. I mean, it's like aiming. It's like going to a shooting range and having a bunch of bullets, and my gun keeps getting jammed because I'm afraid to cock it and let it go. I want to cock it and slowly close it. Well, that bullet's gonna get jammed in it. It's made to bang. It's made to have that cock, boom, bang. So you need to understand that to do any type of research or to study any field and not pull the trigger is not good. So I wouldn't suggest. At least I've learned that there's no reason to aim in that fire. The goal is to gain experience, not to have conversation comprehension. I mean, you can comprehend something but don't utilize it, and you don't gain experience from that. A lot of people have head knowledge but don't have no experience because it'll scare them if they actually had to do what they're talking about. Well, for me, I love roller coasters. I love heights, and I don't mind gaining a skill. Well, until next week, you guys have a great. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Somebody may find this to be interesting and help our channel grow. If you've never subscribed to our channel, make sure you do so. And I look to see you next week. And I look forward to continue my dialogue with you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Goodbye.